Day 12. It's Friday, it's Anzac Day, and on this day in New Zealand and Australia we commemorate the troops from both New Zealand and Australia, members of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, who sacrificed their lives on this day on the beaches of Gallipoli in Turkey. And sadly they were ambushed, and that day is remembered down this side of the world for obvious reasons. We give thanks to those who sacrificed their lives for our freedom, and that's basically it. Today has begun on a somber moment, but it's going to end on a real positive. You know, I coined myself as a mute hermit the last couple of weeks that I was drinking alcohol to excess. And that is basically the culmination of months and months and months, if not years, of isolation, slowly but surely getting worse, and numbing myself out, numbing my emotions, but more importantly, numbing my personality. And I knew I had a personality in there somewhere. You know, it troubled me to constantly think and look back to when I was a kid, because, you know, at times I wonder, you know, where did that kid go? Where has that kid gone? That funny, assertive, confident, but empathetic at the same time. Where has that kid gone? Where has that personality gone? And I thought at some point I'd lost it forever. And to think things like that causes you to be, one, anxious about talking to people, certainly new people in new situations, because you feel you've got nothing to offer. But it also causes a real sense of depression, because you feel like you're nothing, you're worthless, you've got no personality. And the part of the personality and such an integral part of being a human being and lifting that sense of depression and anxiety is to laugh and to joke. And not only, you know, laugh yourself at other people genuinely, because you're not constantly in your own head. And if you are like that, it's very, very hard to feel free enough to genuinely laugh, because for the most part for me, I'd hear a joke and I'd think that should be funny, I should be laughing, but I'm always so negative and so wrapped up in my own negative thoughts and anxiety and such that I don't let myself laugh, or at least if I do laugh, it's faked. And if you smile and laugh, but it's faked for too long, it really, really starts to affect you and bring you down. And you feel like, is this ever going to change? Am I ever going to be able to laugh genuinely again? Am I ever going to be able to smile genuinely again? And so a really, you know, and I pinpoint this moment that happened not yesterday but the day before, because it was the first time in a long time that I actually met someone for the first time, had a half-decent conversation, and finished it with a joke. And it was a joke back and forth. And it's been so long since that's happened, or at least since that's happened sober, put it that way. I thought it was impossible, but it seems it's not. So I don't know what this video is going to be called, but it's it may be titled something along the lines of, 12 days clean and sober. My first genuine laugh in months or years, or something along those lines. But basically what happened is, one of the reasons I've signed up to the gym that I have decided to sign up to is because they have not only a boxing studio upstairs, they've got a great weights area with cardio equipment, they've got a couple of other functional training areas, but they've also got a spa, sauna, ice bath, and swimming pool, 25 meter lap pool area. And that really appealed to me. I have never, for one, I cannot have a cold shower for the life of me. I cannot do it. I've wanted to do it in the past, but I can't bring myself to it. And I've certainly never been in an ice bath. Now, this is not an ice bath as such. There's no ice in the water, but it is icy. It is extremely cold. And the first time I put my hand in there, I was blown away by how cold it was, because it looks like just a normal body of water, but it is most certainly not. So I did my workout, I went for a run, and I went into the area, the spa area, and I decided, right, well, this is the moment. This is the moment. I bite the bullet and get in, because I was quite hot at the time. It felt like the right thing to do. My body was tired, my legs were tired, I was sweating like a madman, so I had a small shower to get the sweat off, and then I jumped into the pool, the ice bath. And my breath got taken away. It is a sense, it's a feeling that I haven't had before. It was overwhelming, and I lasted 30 seconds. And I got out. And then immediately you start to warm up, and you get real tingly and quite high feeling, and I started feeling a sense of warmth again, and I thought, nah, I can do this again. I can get in there again. So I did. I got in there again for 30 seconds. But it was no easier than the time before. And it's I guess it's quite alarming, but it's funny at the same time. It's like, you're not going to die, I don't think. I felt like I was going to. My feet were cramping up. My feet, no, they weren't cramping up, but they were just sore, you know what I mean? Because the extremities, the hands and the feet, oh my God, they're the first things to numb out. They were going numb, basically. Sore, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's a feeling I'd never had before. Anyway, I got out and I went into the sauna after that. And there was another fella in there, and we started just having small talk, which was good. Here I am sober, 10 days clean and sober, 11 days, whatever it was, 10 days off of alcohol and drugs. No one else knows that, but I do. And I'm inserting myself in situations that I simply, well, for one, I wouldn't have been at the gym, and number two, I would have, either been drunk or high, and that conversation I may have had, but number one, I probably wouldn't remember it, and number two, it wouldn't have meant anything to me. It's very surface level when you're drunk and stoned all the time. And so I got in there, we were, chatting away. A couple of other people came in the sauna, and then the chat died down. But one of the things we discussed was the fact that both of us had just gone in the ice bath for the first time. And how good was this facility? We've got spas, we've got saunas, ice baths. How good is that? And so we chatted about that. And he mentioned that he'd heard, he felt it was just as hard as what I did, but he'd heard through the grapevine that apparently a trick to make it, especially for your feet, because I was discussing how my feet felt, a trick of the trade is to wear socks inside the ice bath. And I said, oh my God, are you serious? They'll come out frozen or something. And that was sort of, okay, that was an initial sort of, I don't know, thing I said to try and, I don't know, joke around, which is something I just never do, because I'm always so serious or depressed. And so I said that, and that was that. Anyway, he got out, he was in the spa. I eventually got out of the sauna. And I said to him, I was like, I'll probably, I said, let me know how the sock idea goes. And he said, yeah, man, for sure I will. And so I went around the corner, had a shower, and whilst I was in the shower, I thought to myself, man, geez, if socks are the key, if socks are the key to your feet not going numb and, not feeling like they're going to fall off, well, what about a full tracksuit? And I walked around the corner and I said to him, what, I reckon I might try a full tracksuit. Well, I said, what do you reckon if we wore an entire tracksuit? Do you reckon that would help? And that was my way of, I guess, continuing the conversation, but also, sadly, when I do think of things that I think might be funny, I'm always so wound up in my own head that I won't say it because I'll think about it for too long. And I'll convince myself that it's not funny and there's no point in saying it. Well, this time, obviously, being sober, your mind does work differently. And I walked around the corner and I said, Matt, what do you reckon if you wore a full tracksuit? And he said, well, I think he said, yeah, that might work. I mean, I'm willing to wear a wetsuit if that's what it takes. And then this image I started walking off, and then I saw an image of a guy wearing a wetsuit getting into an ice bath. And I just absolutely burst out laughing. I laughed my head off. I thought, that is so funny. That is hilarious. Saying wearing a tracksuit in there was one thing, but saying that, he'd wear a wetsuit if he had to get back in that ice bath, because neither of us wanted to do it. It just really made me laugh. And it was a genuine laugh. And I've thought about it multiple times since. It was such a good one. And I just bring that to you because it was genuinely the first laugh I've had in a while, and it was with someone I've only just met, and I'd finished a great workout, I'd had my first ice bath, I'd met someone new, and I'd had a joke, and I walked out of that gym just feeling on top of the world, and it's for multiple reasons. And the main one, the one that I'm referring to today, is the fact that, and this may seem really, really small, but it's big to me, and it's the fact that, that joke, that little sequence may seem really small, but the more times that happens, hopefully, the more times I feel comfortable enough to, try and crack a joke, which is something I just don't do anymore, which is really sad because, as humans, we need laughter. The more times that happens, I feel like the better I'm going to feel, and it may seem small, but it was massive. It was a massive moment for me, and I wanted to discuss it because I'm about to go to the gym again, and I'd love nothing more than to have more of those conversations, more genuine laughs, because life has been dimmed. My personality has been stolen from me through drugs and alcohol for too long. It's sad, but this was a good moment. This was a shining light in what has been 12 days of sobriety from alcohol and drugs. So thank you for watching, guys. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm really glad I made this video, and that's what I'll do. I think the daily vlogs are over. Although tomorrow I have a sneaky suspicion I'm gonna create one around getting the garden back up to standard. We've got some weeding to do, some pruning, some mowing, and also I'm gonna try and plant my 3 citrus trees, which is gonna be awesome. And I'll show you guys where the spot, whatever. But apart from that, if something comes to mind, or if something happens that's new or that is based around my sobriety, I will bring it to the channel. And that's how we're going to go moving forward. It's days like this where I don't have to go to work that used to worry me, but I'm slowly but surely learning to love them and know that, look, the day is going to go as fast as the day goes. Some days are faster, some days are slower, but you don't need to drink or smoke to get through it. Life's worth way too much to keep numbing it out. I need to work out who I am. I need to get back to who I am. And we're well on the way to doing that. So whether you wear socks on your feet getting into the ice bath, or whether you go full force and whack on a wetsuit, I mean, I assume it wouldn't be too bad. With a wetsuit and socks, I mean, you could stay in there all day. But, I don't think that's the way it was designed. But I don't know if I'll get in there today. Honestly, it's very daunting. It was a lot. But, at least the facility's there, right? I've got absolutely everything I need in that gym to, fulfill me and my workout routines, whatever they may be, except for a basketball court. That would be the ultimate, but, it is what it is. Effectively, I could train for a triathlon in there. They've got a 25-meter lat pool, you've got your bikes, and you've got your treadmills. But, the way my legs are feeling right now, that just seems well off the table. I trained legs for the first time in months on Wednesday, and then yesterday I went and trained back and tries. Finished off with 20 minutes on the Stairmaster, which is something I've never done before. I just wanted to, try and, get rid of a little bit of that lactic fucking soreness in the legs that was still there. And I've woken up this morning and my legs are even sorer. So there'll be, I've got my running shoes on. I feel like I probably will go for a run, maybe 5Ks after my workout. But for today, it's chest, which is always a good day, followed by biceps, which is also always good, although I'm feeling very weak right now. But it is what it is. I've got my creatine on board, 2 days in. Got my citrulline malate, got my beta-alanine, got my coffee for my caffeine. And as I always say, it's been a massive turnaround. It hasn't been without hard work, but if I can do it, you can do it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.